Then they will say increase the number to three. Or why you have restricted the transfer of shares? You see, do you want to convert it to a private company? No, sir, we don't want to convert it. Okay, then remove this restriction and so on. If they do not do that, then the nature of its registration will be changed, and from the date of alteration of memorandum, it will cease to be a public company. Okay. In the same way, in the same way, just suppose that there is a private company, and the members willingly say that we have earned too much. So let us vast the circle of our business activities. Let's start taking the huge, you see, projects, contracts. But unfortunately, they don't have money. And all what these 15 members had, they have invested. So how can they increase it? They can borrow. They can borrow money from the banks, from other people's. Okay, but they cannot increase the number of members. They say, look, if we increase the number of our members from 50 to 500, then we will have huge amounts as capital. And then we would be able to take huge CPAC contracts. I decided, all right. So for that purpose, this private limited company would also be needing to alter its memorandum of association and articles of association. Okay? And it would change the characteristics of a private company into public company. And not only this, that all the alterations in this regard, which will change the characteristics of one kind of company to the other kinds, must be needed by a special resolution. And this phrase is not strange for you. You have been told in detail that a special resolution is that resolution which is supported by 3/4 majority, a huge majority. Okay. So if the public company has got restrictions on the maximum number of members, removed restriction on transfer of shares, removed restriction of on public offer of shares, removed. When these all amendments would be removed, then they would be needed to file an application with the Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan to get their approval in writing. So once the approval has been granted by the commission, and once they have submitted the amended form of articles, form of memorandum and articles, then they will be allowed. And the nature of the nature of the registration of one company to another will be changed. And since from the date of alteration in memorandum, it will cease to be a private company, it will be considered to be a public company, meaning that it will be allowed to sell its shares to the public. It will be allowed to have as much as member it likes. Okay, so this is in the both cases. If talked about special resolution, that comes into the third category of company with which we are dealing. That is SMC, single member company. A single member company, you know that it has got just one member, just one member. And a typical example is Kalahan Groceries, was owned by Kalahan. He was the sole proprietor. He went and he converted his sole proprietorship business into a corporate company form of business. Now it is Kalahan Groceries SMC, single member company. So now there are two personalities. Previously there was just one personality, and he was Kalahan. Now there are two personalities, two persons, Kalahan and Kalahan SMC Limited. Okay. So the business entity is different from its members. Okay, if Khan says that, look, I need more money to expand my business, but there is nobody, we can include with him 2, 3, 4, up to 50 persons and can convert, you see, his business, to convert his business into a private limited company. Okay, and not we can do it by amendment of amendment. In amendment, you will introduce. You see, the number of members for a single member company as low is one. Now he can increase. He can amend. Okay, if he has amended, or SMC has amended it, has altered its memorandum, and it has removed all the characteristics of an SNC. Okay, and it has fulfilled all the legal requirements which are needed for its conversion from SNC. يكون صار تشير لغير موصل بسيط ما شاء الله آخر لقاء موصل. It's very bad, Mohsen Abbas. You are too late. So here you see, if all these requirements are fulfilled, there is no hurdle, there is no objection on the part of the law, and SMC, a single member company, may be converted to a private limited at any time, and a private limited company to. Now, question arises that why and how a private limited company should be converted into an SNC. Just suppose that 10 people are running a business under a private limited company. 10 people. Just suppose 9 of them, they have got tired. They want to get rid of the business. There are two ways. Either to wind up the business and dissolve the company, or to convert it into an SNC. Just one of them is, you see, he likes to continue. He says, look, don't wind it up. That's longer and that's more expensive, more troublesome, you see, to wind up the business. And then I'll be registering a new SNC for myself. So let us decide to convert our private limited company to a single member company. Okay, and so on. Fulfilling the requirements, they can file an application with the Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, and in this way, they can convert their private limited company. The remaining single member, he will offer them, sell me all of their shares. I have money, I'll pay you. So if he pays, just suppose the number of members was 10, and he pays off 9 of them and takes their shares, and then they have amended the you see, they have amended the memorandum and articles. Then you see this SMC. This private limited company can be converted to a single member company. What's the benefit for the remaining person? You know it very well that you see, instead of running this business as a sole proprietor is not good. It's very good to run it as an SMC single member company. Why? Because his liability would be limited to what he extended. His private properties will be saved from attachment and sale in the case the business comes across a huge loss which is beyond its capital. Okay. One more thing which I want to bring to your notice is there are section 46 and 47. They deal with conversion of the company one class to the other class. And there are requirements for every company, the public company, the private company, and section 46 and 47 talks about the requirements for the conversion of private to public, public to private, private to SMC, SMC to private. if these requirements are not fulfilled, or if the provisions of either section 46 or 47, you see, as I told you, 46 deals with conversion of private to public and public to private, while section 47 deals with SMC to private and private to SMC. There are certain requirements. If that requirements, if those sections, either section 46 or 47, are violated, you see, there is a penalty upon violation of that. What is the penalty? The penalty is fine. There is no imprisonment here, no imprisonment, and no lashes, no punishment except a fine. And the fine is called a level 2 fine. There are levels: level 1, level 2, level 3 of fines, categories of fines. Section 270, 479 of the Companies Act 2017. If you look into section 479, it will tell you what are the levels. So here, for the violation of section 47 or 46, the penalty is a fine up to rupees 500,000. 500,000. And you see, up to 1,000 per day during which the default continues. If the money is not paid for every day, you see there is a surcharge of 1,000. Here, I don't know whether I have told you that while law says up to 500,000, meaning, you see, it is there is a discretion to the deciding court or the deciding authority. Cases may be different from one another. Situation might be different from case to case. So this discretion has been given to the deciding authority or to the deciding court, that up to how much the court or the authority wants to impose. So the authority can start from rupee 1 to 5. It cannot go beyond 500,000. It can impose 200,000, 300,000, anything below 500,000. It's not fixed. It's not fixed that it must be 500,000. No, it may be up to 500,000, and this is for the violation of provisions. You see, provisions of section 46 and 47, and today's lesson. The